The DARWIN200 project is a global conservation initiative set up to change the world for the better. The project's mission? To harness the legacy of Charles Darwin and engage people worldwide to create a brighter future for nature and mankind. The project has 3 core objectives. Objective 1. Train, upskill and empower the world's top young conservationists to nurture them as exceptional conservation leaders to save critically endangered species. Objective 2. Beam out 100 weekly world's most exciting classroom broadcasts to schools across the globe to inspire and reconnect students with nature, science and conservation. And Objective 3. Undertake research projects and community engagement activities to tackle many of the world's most critical environmental problems and show solutions are possible. For such an ambitious project, DARWIN200 partnered with an equally ambitious vessel and team. The Oosterschelde, a 107-year-old Dutch tall ship that's one of the most beautiful historic ships afloat. As the DARWIN200 project takes place 2 centuries after Charles Darwin's epic journey aboard HMS Beagle, this beautiful vessel encapsulates the project's mission and spirit of adventure and discovery. We were honoured that the inspiring conservationists Dr. Jane Goodall, Dr. Sylvia Earle and Dr. Sarah Darwin agreed to be patrons of DARWIN200 and support the project's mission.
I believe that this project is tremendously important. It comes at the right time. We all have a role to play. We can all help make a difference.
Together with Gerben and Matthias Nab, who run the Oosterschelde, we designed an epic 2-year voyage from England to Australia and back, visiting all the major ports that Charles Darwin visited. These ports would be the key locations where the project's main activities would take place. The journey would comprise 32 voyage legs, with over 43,000 nautical miles of sailing to cross 4 oceans and visit 5 continents. After 2 years of planning and preparation, our epic adventure was set to begin in Plymouth, England, the city where Charles Darwin boarded HMS Beagle 2 centuries ago. Crewed by a highly skilled team, on the 15th of August 2023, Oosterschelde departed Plymouth to begin the epic 2-year voyage. Within a few days of sailing, the crew caught a glimpse of a thin whale before reaching Spain's Canary Islands for our first group of Darwin leaders that undertook their projects amidst Tenerife's spectacular volcanic landscape. We then sailed south to the dramatic Cape Verde archipelago. We then crossed the Atlantic and passed the equator to reach Brazil's Fernando de Noronha archipelago, then onwards to Salvador to be greeted by humpback whales, and then on to Rio de Janeiro, where we were honoured to berth alongside the beautiful Museum of Tomorrow. Dolphins bade us farewell as we left Rio, but conditions became notably colder and stormier as we ventured south to Punta del Este in Uruguay, and then onwards to Patagonia and Puerto Madryn in Argentina. Following in HMS Beagle's wake, we then sailed to the beautiful Falkland Islands that teem in diverse wildlife. Oosterschelde then sailed through the Straits of Magellan to Punta Arenas, then north through the exquisite Chilean fjords, past glaciers and dramatic peaks, where we encountered the blue whale. We continued north along the western coast of South America, stopping at Concepcion and Valparaiso to enjoy beautiful Chilean sunsets and countless pods of dolphins. Our last ports in South America were Ancon near Lima, Peru, and Puerto Lucia, Ecuador, before we arrived in the legendary Galapagos Islands. Rich with endemic giant tortoises, marine iguanas, and sea lions. We then landed at Easter Island in Pitcairn before reaching Polynesia. There we stopped at many islands, including Tahiti, and explored the Society Archipelago before sailing onwards to Rarotonga in the midst of the annual humpback migration. We were even visited by these enormous whales whilst the ship lay at anchor. At Tonga, many of the crew swam with humpbacks before we sailed on to the Bay of Islands in New Zealand and onward to Sydney, Australia. We had the special honour of docking alongside the iconic Sydney Opera House for an unforgettable Darwin Leader presentation ceremony. From Sydney, we journeyed south to Hobart, and then we returned to Christchurch, New Zealand, to prepare for the longest leg of the entire voyage. From Christchurch, we crossed the South Pacific through storms to round Cape Horn and arrived once more in the Falkland Islands. We then sailed to the exquisite island of South Georgia, famed for its enormous penguin colonies. We then called in at Cape Town, South Africa, before returning north through the Atlantic, stopping at St. Helena, Ascension Island, the Azores, and then our final destination, Falmouth, England, where Charles Darwin returned home. Oosterschelde's inspiring beauty turned heads in all of the ports she visited, not just as a symbol of exploration and adventure, but as a living demonstration of it. And through this epic voyage, the DARWIN200 project objectives were enabled. Over the course of our 2-year voyage, the DARWIN200 team selected 106 amazing young conservationists from 45 countries around the world. Known as Darwin leaders, each was carefully chosen for their abilities, initiative, and determination. They all displayed a raw, burning passion to protect the natural world and drive positive change for a better future. All of the Darwin leaders had track records of exceptional conservation work and shared a passion for making the world a better place. By nurturing these exceptional young conservationists, we hope to create a new wave of environmental leaders to save endangered species for the future. DARWIN200 flew small groups of Darwin leaders to the ports our ship visited. The DARWIN200 team set up a bespoke training placement for each Darwin leader in partnership with a local conservation organisation. Each Darwin leader then followed the work of their conservation partner to study the methods and techniques of conserving a particular endangered species or ecosystem. These projects ranged from conserving howler monkeys to giant tortoises, endemic plants to unique beetles, seabird colonies to sea lions, and everything in between. During their training placement, each Darwin leader was tasked with studying the past, present, and future conservation of their study subject. Looking at the past, they had to find out what threats had caused their subject species or ecosystem to be endangered, what had gone wrong, and why. Looking at the present, they had to investigate what is currently being done to conserve their subject species or ecosystem, and how effective is the current approach. Are the current conservation efforts working? And then, looking at the future, each Darwin leader had to develop new ideas and new solutions to create a brighter future for their chosen subject species or ecosystem. They had to think about what more we could do to better conserve the subject for the future. The training placements were carefully designed to make each Darwin leader think and develop new innovative ideas to solve environmental problems. The objective was not for each Darwin leader to solve the conservation issues their subject faces. That would be impossible in the time available. But instead, to give each Darwin leader the opportunity to learn new skills and techniques, and the freedom to think and develop new ideas to solve conservation problems. We hope each Darwin leader will retain the skills they learned and use their experience over the course of their careers in conservation for decades to come. The training placements were intense. Each Darwin leader had to immerse themselves in complex environmental issues. Many involved diving, trekking, canoeing, and exploring. And yet, every single Darwin leader put their heart and soul into their training placements, often working late each night, fueled by their passion and dedication for the planet. Many of the Darwin leader projects achieved exceptional results. To mention just one example, in Cape Verde, Darwin leader Gabriel Grelet and researchers from our local conservation partner Biosfera rediscovered a species of gecko that was long thought to be extinct, giving hope for the survival of this species. As part of their training, each Darwin leader worked with a professional camera operator to design and produce 3 films and 3 written essays, and give a public presentation at the end of their placement activities. Through this output, each Darwin leader gains skills to communicate conservation problems and solutions to wider audiences. Essential skills in solving today's environmental issues. All of the completed Darwin leader films and written reports can be viewed on the DARWIN200 website. At the start of our voyage, we hoped that the Darwin leaders would be empowered
Literally in front of my eyes.
to become the drivers of future conservation efforts. What we have discovered is that they are already leading and already changing the world. While the voyage was taking place, every week, DARWIN200 and Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants broadcast 100 weekly World's Most Exciting Classroom episodes to schools across the globe.
So with this ROV, we can dive down into
Each episode was designed to offer a wealth of free resources to schools to make learning exciting and inspire passion in the adventure of science. Hosted by Joe Grabowski, each weekly episode included a live uplink to the ship to hear the latest news from the crew and researchers on board. Then, a weekly experiment for students to replicate in their classroom or at home. The experiments covered a wide range of subjects, from investigating why deep-sea creatures bioluminesce, to growing copper sulfate crystals and cultivating mushrooms. We investigated how a snail moves, to rearing Triops tadpole shrimps, and investigating the size of the solar system, and dozens of other fascinating subjects. The answer to the previous episode's experiment was then explained, with up to £150 in prizes given away each week to students that had replicated the previous experiment and sent in the correct answer. In each episode, we also ran a Natural History Curiosity of the Week segment, which challenged students to identify an interesting natural object for the chance to win gift voucher prizes. The curiosities ranged from glowing fluorite to air plants, a megalodon tooth, to a morpho butterfly, a paper nautilus, to a lithops pebble plant, and a meteorite, to even a trilobite fossil, to name but a few. As part of the weekly broadcasts, we launched online interactive Kahoots quizzes for schools across the globe to compete in. And many episodes featured live segments with environmentalists in the field, beamed via satellite, to show conservation in action. From the rainforests of Brazil to exploring little-known caves in Indonesia, to a koala hospital in Australia, and a shark and ray rehabilitation centre, and even penguin colonies.
They're so beautiful.
We were especially thrilled that our project patron, Dr. Jane Goodall, also joined several episodes live to give talks and inspire students' passion for nature and conservation. Countless students from countries across the globe have taken part in the 100 weekly World's Most Exciting Classroom episodes, and we hope these broadcasts have inspired young minds in their learning and encouraged local students to think about how all of us can build a better world of tomorrow. And from all the penguins, we say a big goodbye.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.
We have really enjoyed the world's most exciting classroom.
We wanted to say thank you to the DARWIN200 team, especially Joe and Stuart. Thank you. Bye.
The Oosterschelde was not just for getting from point A to point B, but she served as a platform for scientific research and community engagement. Throughout our global voyage, DARWIN200 worked with leading scientists and researchers to undertake groundbreaking research projects. We undertook a global seabird survey led by ornithologist Grant Terrell. This ambitious effort culminated in 1,000 hours of data collection, with over 20,000 individual birds counted, comprising more than 800 different species recorded. We gathered data from many of the most remote parts of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, locations where very few people reach, and we extended the known range of multiple bird species. On every leg of the voyage, we gave a free place to a researcher from the Explorers Club. Of many fascinating research projects that were enabled, DARWIN's canoe bug project led to the discovery of several new species of invertebrates. One of these, a marine cricket, was the centre of a competition in which students around the world selected a name for this new species. We also completed a major eDNA and BRUV survey across seamounts in the Atlantic in association with the Ascension Island government. Throughout the voyage, we also focused on engaging communities in tangible solutions to solving conservation issues, particularly reforestation. We raised $20,000 and planted thousands of trees with local partners in the Atlantic rainforest of Brazil, in New South Wales, Australia, and on the island of St. Helena. We involved as many young people as possible in planting trees, and in the ports we stopped at, many thousands of young students visited our ship and took part in science projects. Lastly, we organised community outreach activities in many of the ports we visited. In Cape Town, we funded a play about Charles Darwin to help inspire South African students to learn about Darwin's story and life's work. With local partners, we erected a bust of Charles Darwin in Simonstown and collaborated on a Darwin-inspired art exhibition promoting the work of young and upcoming African artists. Summaries of these and dozens of other legacy projects are profiled on the DARWIN200 website. At the end of the first DARWIN200 global voyage, we've seen the power of the global community of conservationists, scientists, and curious minds. The Darwin Leader projects and the countless conservationists we've worked with show that it's not too late. Endangered species can be pulled back from the cliff of extinction. Change is within our power, and the DARWIN200 family of Darwin leaders, the thousands of schools, and the countless students we've worked with are the living legacy of the project to change the world of tomorrow.